Been pretty fortunate over the last 4 or 5 years of my running. I've not had any major injuries. Not so true in my first couple of years. I had some foot issues. I think I've learned some good things over the last 4 or 5 years, really over my entire running career, things that help me stay healthy, enjoy my running. And I've taken the 10 best ones that I use, and I want to share those with you today. And I've got a bonus one at the end that doesn't really have so much to do with being healthy, but it does have a lot to do with being happy. Welcome to the Ageless Runner. I'm Ralph. So tip number 1 probably goes without saying. I know many of you are doing this already, and that is do the Jeff Galloway run, walk, run. Now, I'm not going to cover that in this video. That's too in-depth. But if you're not doing it, I encourage you. And if you want to learn about it, I'll put some links down below. But doing a run, walk, run saved me from multiple injuries. It has allowed me to do long-distance running and participate in races and just have a generally successful and happy running life. Now, tip number 2 deals with the run-walk ratio. And when I say run-walk ratio, if you take your run time divided by your walk time, that's your ratio. So if you run for a minute and walk for 15 seconds, that's a 4-to-1 ratio. So my recommendation here is try to keep that run-walk ratio to 4-to-1 or less, but certainly no higher than 6-to-1. When you start getting into those high ratios, you're spending less time walking, you're having less frequent walk breaks. What's that do? Well, one of the advantages of run, walk, run is to minimize injuries. If you're taking fewer walks or shorter walks, you're going to risk that injury. So keep a 4-to-1, but no higher than 6-to-1 run, walk ratio. Now, tip number 3 or recommendation number 3 is still with the run, walk, run, and that is when you do your walk at least 15 seconds. My research or my experiments have shown that you really need at least 15 seconds to get some recovery. I base that on heart rate. So walk at least 15 seconds. How long you walk is up to you. Some places recommend no more than 30 seconds. But if you want to walk longer than 30 seconds, that's fine. But walk at least 15 seconds to give you some recovery. Again, if you don't get enough recovery, you risk injury. So I recently had a birthday. I turned 68. And tip number 4 deals with getting older, and that is the older you get, the more recovery you're going to need. It's just a fact of life. As we age, our bodies needs more time to repair, just like we do from any injury. Running can be injurious to us only from the fact that we abuse our muscles and we need to give them time to recover. So the older you get, allow more recovery time. There's this old rule of thumb, this old adage that says for every mile you do of a hard run or a long run, wait 1 day before you do another longer hard run. And I pretty much hear that anymore. I can't do it less than that. If I do a 10-mile run, I'll wait at least 10 days before I do another long run. I just need that rest time. Again, everybody's different. Now, maybe you need more of that. Maybe you need less than that. But as you get older, allow more recovery time. Tip number 5 is think shorter stride, not longer stride. If your stride's too long, you're going to risk heel striking. In fact, my wife decided to do a little bit of running. She's a walker. So I do a little bit of running. And I saw her running out my front bedroom window, and I thought, oh my gosh, her stride's way too long. And sure enough, she's got a little bit of a foot injury. So keep your stride shorter. The best way you do that is get your cadence up. Get your cadence, which is steps per minute, up at least above 160, preferably above 170, and that'll help you shorten up that stride, risk injury to your legs and your feet from overstriding and heel striking. Now, tip number 6 is pay attention to your body. Don't ignore the signals. If you're feeling a nagging soreness, don't ignore that. Maybe it needs treatment. Maybe you need to rest it. If you go out and do a long run, the next day you're kind of sore, that's kind of a little indicator. Maybe you pushed a little too hard. Give yourself a little more recovery time. So listen to the body's triggers, listen to the signals, and take care and treat your body well. So tip number 7 has to do with hydration. Of course, you know, as well as I do, it's important to drink water and hydrate when we run. But I would caution you not to rely on your sense of thirst, because as we get older, our sense of thirst begins to diminish. That's why dehydration is a real problem with elderly or elderly people. So what I do in the warm weather months, if it's going to be hot out or warm out, I drink every 15 minutes. I take 3 or 4 gulps from my water bladder and drink every 15 minutes. Now, if it's colder weather, if I'm running in the wintertime, it's not quite as hot, I'm not sweating as much, I'll push it out to every 20 minutes. And so drink on a time basis, not a sense of thirst basis. Now, when you get back from run, of course, you've abused your body, you've exercised your muscles, you've got these little micro tears in them and need repaired, you depleted your glycogen stores in your muscles. So you need to consume food. You need to consume some nourishment. Now, research has suggested the best recovery ratio of carbohydrates to protein is 3-to-1 to 4-to-1. In other words, eat 3 times to 4 times as many carbohydrates as you do protein after you run, typically within 30 to 60 minutes. So if you eat a hard-boiled egg, for example, that's maybe 5 or 6 grams of protein, you want to consume enough carbs, that would be, 15 to 20 grams of carbs. So that's a good ratio, 3-to-1 to 4-to-1. There are recovery drinks out there you can buy that automatically have that correct ratio, but you can get that through food, but just try to get that 3-to-1 to 4-to-1 ratio. Tip number 9 is focus less on pace and more on the length of your run. The length of the run could be time, it could be mileage or distance, but it's not really up to you. When you do that, if you just focus on completing your run, you're less likely to push yourself too hard and risk injury. If you're trying to get a pace, but you're also trying to get a distance, that's where injuries can result because you're pushing yourself too hard. And if you just say, I just want to go out and run for an hour or run 5 miles and do that, well, that's great for your psyche, right? Because you accomplished that. If you say, I want to go out and run 5 miles and do it at a 12-minute per mile pace, now you've got 2 objectives that you have at risk, maybe not meeting, and maybe you feel unsatisfied. So just focus on the length of your run, whether it's time or distance, and let that be your goal of each run. Now, my last tip has to do with our shoes. Shoes are very important, right? I mean, that's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. And that is really start paying attention to the wear on your shoes. If you're not tracking your mileage, do so. There's lots of apps that do that. My running app is called Runkeeper. It has a shoe tracker in it. There are others, but track your mileage in your shoe, but also be looking at your shoes. Look for overuse wear pattern. Is the midsole cushion still compressing, or is it already compressed because you've got too many miles on it? They typically say a pair of running shoes should last 300 to 500 miles. I don't get that because I have very high arches. So people with high arches wear their shoes on the outside corner of their heel, and I wear terribly there. I usually don't get 300 miles, but I'm watching my shoes. When you get up around 250, I'll probably change them out. Because you have unusual wear patterns like I do, it can affect your foot landing, your foot placement, and your risk injury. I find that when I start getting that excessive wear in my heel and it's time to change them, I'll start feeling some stress in my IT band on my leg. So pay attention to your shoes, change them regularly. Some people use 2 pair of running shoes and alternate them. You might do 1 pair today and a different pair a couple of days from now. That's just one way to extend the life of your shoes, but pay attention to the wear and change them out regularly. Now, I said I had a bonus tip. My bonus tip doesn't really have to do with our bodies, and this is more with our motivation, our excitement. And that is find a race. Go out and find a race you can sign up for and do. It's a great motivator to train, and it's a great fun to do. If you're looking for a race, there's a great website called runningintheusa.com. Runningintheusa.com. You can search by geography, length of race, month of the year, and find a race in your area that might be fun. But find a race. It's a great motivation. It's great fun to do. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a few things. If you have any recommendations of things that you feel you've learned that are really important for you, feel free to share them down in the comments. In any event, if you like this video, please hit the like button down below. And if you're new here, I'd love to have you stick around. Please hit the subscribe button also. Thanks again and happy running.